Nobody on the Wilton team has. So I think that there's a little bit of an advantage there in settling in. But at the same time, I think once Wilton does get over the early jitters, it'll just become a football game the Warriors will sit down and play too.
Quite a season for the Wilton Warriors, coming off a 1-8-1 season a year ago.
Yeah, Tom Fujitani is very, very pleased with the way his ball club turned it around. It's a team that kind of gained confidence as the year went along. They had a couple of very close games early in the season, and they had to make a pretty good comeback to beat Ridgefield. And once that happened, the Warriors really, they beat Ridgefield 6-0. And it was a week after they had lost to New Canaan 8-7 on a controversial two-point play. Then the next week they had Staples, and I think a lot of people at that point thought Wilton was going to fold because Staples with Lance Lonigan is an outstanding football team. And Wilton came on and won that game and just kind of really picked up momentum. After that, Wilton only gave up 13 points in its last 5 games until the game with Stanford Catholic.
What do you think Wilton and both the Tigers will have to do in order to win this ball game this afternoon?
Well, Wilton, with its ball control wishbone offense, has to avoid making mistakes, has to be able to move the ball downfield against Hand. Hand, conversely, has to stop the wishbone, which obviously has been a problem for the Tigers in the past. Going back to the East Catholic game last year, going to Bunnell and looking at the fact that North Branford usually gives the Tigers a problem. Hand, on the other hand, has got to rely on, basically, on the throwing of David Thompson, certainly, which is something that the Tigers have done all year. Hand has to be able to run the ball a little bit just to keep the Warriors honest. And defensively, what Hand's got to try to do is play assignment football and set up the second and long, third and long plays. You can't give up big yardage on first down, and you don't want to give up big yardage on second down. You've got to try to force Wilton to make something happen by setting up that 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7 type play.
The Tigers have encountered 2 wishbone teams in the past year and a half or so, including the 14-12 loss to East Catholic, and then, of course, Bunnell this year, where the Tigers came back late in the game to win that one. Tigers sort of historically have trouble with wishbone teams.
Yeah, I guess you can kind of say that, you know, but then again, that kind of gets to be a psychological point, too. A lot of people have trouble with the wishbone. That's why people still run it. It's an offense that's predicated on the ability to run the football. Wilton has one very, very good running back. Their other good running back is injured, will not play, Manny Suarez, who gained almost 900 yards this year and is a very dangerous breakaway runner. He will not play today. But Bobby Gerizal, a junior, he had 930 yards, scored 90-some-odd points this year, and did a very, very good job of running the ball for Wilton.
How do the 2 teams match up as far as the schedules they played and their opponents? It looks to be that the Hand Tigers played a much tougher schedule, playing teams like Maloney, Bunnell, North Branford, Middletown, and Xavier. How about the Wilton team? Did they play that tough a schedule?
In terms of record, no. You know, Wilton's opponents 50, 57, and 2 for the year. Hand's 53, 43, and 3. But at the same time, teams like Ridgefield has been to the playoffs. Staples, a very good football team. Darien has been to the playoffs before. Trumbull has been to the playoffs before. Stanford Catholic has been to the playoffs before. So they've played a schedule where they have played some fairly teams that have historically been good football teams.
Let's set up the starting teams for both the Tigers and Wilton. On offense for the Hand Tigers, the center will be number 79, Mike Ciotti, the 6'1", 203-pound junior. The guards, number 68, Bob Hughes at 6'2", 206. He's a senior. The other guard will be Rob Vibert at 5'11", 159, a junior, number 67, who did a nice job filling in last week against Guilford. The tackles, Jim McGoey, number 73, 6'1", 209-pound junior. And the right tackle, number 66, Justin Murphy, a senior at 6'1", 211 pounds. The split end for the Tigers will be number 7, Bill Leckie, a 5'9", 152-pound senior. The tight end, number 9, Tim Nye, at 6'5", 200 pounds. Tim Nye, also a senior. The flanker will be number 5, all-purpose Matt Sullivan, at 5'9", 168 pounds. The fullback, playing his second game for the Tigers, number 40, Bill Leckie's brother Stu, at 5'10", 180 pounds, and only a sophomore. At the tailback position, number 26 will be Kevin Pickett, the 5'10", 155-pound senior. And, of course, the quarterback, All-American, number 12, David Thompson, at 6'2", 195 pounds, also his final game for the Tigers.
For the Wilton offense, starting at center, number 53, Ray Guimond, 6'1", 185-pound junior. The guards, number 61, Chris Kennedy at 6'1", 170-pound senior. Number 62, Jeff Ferguson, 5'8", 175-pound senior. The tackles, number 75, Bill Bryant, 6'2", 190-pound junior. And the mountain, number 76, Stu Milberg, 6'6", 275. A senior, and he's starting to get some recruiting notice. The tight end, number 80, Jimmy O'Brien at 6'1", 183, a junior. The split end, Tim Roberts, number 82, 5'10", 151, and a junior. And we will also see Junior Mulliken in there quite a bit. He flip-flops in at the receiver position. In the wishbone backfield, the quarterback, number 7, Chris Kinch, a 5'8", 148-pound senior. The left halfback, number 34, Kevin Jebbia, 5'7", 140, a senior, and he is taking the place of Manny Suarez. The right halfback is the big dangerous runner for the Warriors, number 35, Bob Gerizal, 5'8", 163, and a junior. And the fullback, another junior, number 30, Jamie D. Simone, 5'7", 160 pounds.
Defensively, the Tigers will come with Dave Green, number 60, 175-pound sophomore at the nose guard. The tackles, number 79, Mike Ciotti, and number 68, Bob Hughes. The ends, number 9, Tim Nye, and number 14, Rob Pegnatero. The linebackers in the 5'2 will be number 30, Dennis Simmons, 170 pounds. Chris Bryce, number 32, 168-pound senior. The Rovers, number 91, Tim Wynoski, weighing in at 148. Timmy is a junior. The other Rover, number 12, David Thompson, and the safeties will be number 5, Matt Sullivan, and 153-pound junior, number 82, Bob Duncanson.
And also we will see Johnny Wiesbrod playing some of that Rover position because Larry Ciotti would like to have David Thompson on the sideline at least part of the game to give him a little bit of rest. Defensively, the Warriors play a 5-2 also, and they will go at nose guard with number 45, Mark Cowper, 5'9", 181-pound junior, whom Larry Ciotti says is the best nose guard he's seen this year. The tackles, Billy Bryant, and number 70, Chris Olson, 5'9", 200-pound senior. He's the only other 200-pounder on the ball club aside from Stu Milberg. The ends, number 98, Jim Brill, 5'8", 175-pound senior, and number 99, Todd Morgan, a 5'10", 166-pound senior. The linebackers, number 66, John Maurer, 6 foot, 160-pound senior, and number 58, Court Mulliken, 5'10", 168-pound senior, and his brother Junior Mulliken is the guy who plays offensively. A couple of very interesting first names. In the defensive secondary, the left cornerback is Tom Bonet, number 5, a 6 foot, 161-pound senior. Kevin Jebbia will be the other corner, number 34, also will be playing offense. The safeties include Bob Gerizal and number 12, John Wiseman, a 6 foot, 175-pound junior. Gerizal also does the punting and the place kicking for the Warriors. Matter of fact, in the last 3 games, Chris, he scored every point Wilton's gotten.
We've talked about in the past the parity it seemed this year in high school football, and last night the first game was played of the championships between Southington and Glastonbury.
Yeah, very, very good football game, very physical game, won by Glastonbury 23-17, and what some people consider to be an upset. But I think people who saw both teams thought that Glastonbury had a pretty good shot to win that game. Although Southington had only given up 18 points all year, Southington had maybe not played a schedule quite as strong as some of the others. As a matter of fact, walking across right now in front of us, about 4 or 5 rows down, I see one of the Glastonbury assistant coaches, Joe Rosanna, who was a teacher of mine back in high school in Middletown. Joe coached in Middletown for a long time, and he's here, I guess, watching this ball game today. But Glastonbury with Anthony Grant doing a heck of a job, 258 yards for the night, which if it's not a state playoff game record, it's got to be awful, awful close. Scored a couple of touchdowns, had 2 very long runs, one 81-yarder, which kind of broke Southington's backs. And then at the end of the ball game, Glastonbury kind of had to hold on, took a deliberate safety with 24 seconds to go, and then kicked off and managed to hold Southington off at the end of the ball game to come up with the win 23-17, which kind of throws the state poll up in the air a little bit too, I think, Chris. My own feeling is that the winner of the Ledyard-Middletown game will probably emerge as the #1 team in the state, but I know that there's a diversity of opinion on that. There are people who think that Ansonia is the best team, including Paul Nichols, who works with us quite often and reported for the Shoreline Times. There are others who may think that Glastonbury is the best team. My own personal opinion, having seen all 5 of the undefeated teams right now, is that the winner of the Ledger Middletown game should be #1.
How do you see the other matchups today, Hal?
There's going to be some interest around the state, I think, Chris. You know, going with the Class L game between Holy Cross and Wilbercross, I think you have a very good matchup there. 2 teams that not too many people know all that much about, but 2 teams which have come on very, very well this year. Wilbercross especially with tremendous quickness and obviously the ability to win the big game. They had to do it against Hampton and had to do it against West Haven, won them both. Holy Cross had some problems early in the year with Ansonia and Watertown, but came on at the end of the year and won 8 out of its last 9 games and made it to the state playoffs. I think that's a toss-up game. I think the Ledger Middletown game is going to be a very close one. I think the double S game also between New London and St. Joe's could be a very close game. New London with very good quickness, and St. Joe's, of course, with that reputation, having been to the state championships 5 times in a row now. I'm sorry, 7 times in a row. They won 5 in a row. They've been there 7 times in a row. I think actually probably the one game that's maybe a little bit of a mismatch is the Class S game between Ansonia and Putnam, where Ansonia sort of figures to be a reasonably healthy favorite in that ballgame.
Quite a few good teams as far as the top 10 and top 20 goes, as far as the New Haven Register poll goes. Unfortunately, weren't able to make the...
Yeah, I think we'll talk about this as soon as the national anthem's over, Chris.
As I was saying, how some very good teams, unfortunately not able to make the championships. 7th-ranked Shelton with a record of 9-1, unable to go. Bunnell, who we know is a heck of a team from Stratford with a record of 8-1-1, unable to go. Is the playoff point system, is it a good system? Is it a right system? Is it a fair system?
I think it's a pretty good system, Chris. I think that as a system, it's as good a one as you're going to find. Obviously, that you can always find ways to improve a system. I know that the CIAC is looking at some things right now. I know Putnam complained bitterly last year over going undefeated and not making it to the playoffs. But at the same time, you know, at some point or another, with only 2 teams going in each division, you're going to run into the problem of a good team being slighted. I think that happened with Shelton, and you know, it's very possible that Shelton could have won the Class Double-L championship game last night. Shelton may very well have been better than either of the 2 teams on the field.
Well, we're just about set to go here. The Double M championship game, first time ever held here in the Yale Bowl in New Haven between the 6th-ranked Tigers with a record of 9-1 and the Wilton Warriors with a record of 9-2, the runners-up in the Fairfield County Conference Championship game. Then they lost to Stanford Catholic by a score of 20-18. The Tigers will receive the opening kickoff, standing back at their own 10-15-yard line. Number 7, Billy Leckie, and number 12, David Thompson, as the Wilton Warriors get set to kick off.
And Stu Milberg will do the kicking off for Wilton. And I think that as they break the huddle, you'll be able to see how big he is.
And we're set to go in a Double M championship game between Hand and Wilton. Milberg will hit it from his 40. It's be fielded by Thompson at his own 10, up over the 20, 25, up over the 30. Big hole up the middle. Thompson rambling up over midfield and finally taken down inside Wilton territory at the 43-yard line.
Chris, David Thompson had the hole there. The wall formed perfectly for him up the middle. and he hit it just exactly the way you want a kickoff returner to hit it. He hit it with at full speed, never looking anywhere except upfield, and bingo, all of a sudden here he is in Wilton territory. And you know what I'd do right here? I'd go for the end zone on the first play.
Well, right off the bat, we see an interesting change. Number 20, Peter Metz, is in at tailback, and he'll get the carry, and he'll be taken down after a short pickup, maybe about a yard. We had been told that Kevin Piggott would be starting at the tailback position, but right now Peter Metz at the tailback. We'll give him about a half a yard on that. It'll be second and about 9.5 for the Tigers.
Yeah, I'm looking for Kevin on the sideline. I don't see him offhand.
Tigers set up I formation. Thompson sprints right, and it's overthrown, intended for Leckie. Good coverage on the play by the Warriors.
All right, Wilton plays that secondary. They play the cornerbacks well off the line of scrimmage all the time, and they usually are going to have at least 4, sometimes as many as 6 men back in the pass coverage. Now, Kevin Piggott's coming in here on a 3rd down play, number 26. He just did come into the lineup when on 3rd and 9 play. But if you watch Wilton set up, the cornerbacks are playing right now about 8 to 9 yards off the line of scrimmage, and they're playing a 4-man front with 3 linebackers. So they're going to be dropping back into almost a nickel defense eventually here, I think.
Tigers send Leckie and Sullivan, and it's the draw to Piggott, who's in the ballgame for his first time, and he carries up inside the 35 to about the 34-yard line.
I think they're going to be just short of the first down here, probably within a yard and a half.
So it'll bring up a 4th down and 1 for the Tigers. Ball spotted at the 35-yard line. And I believe the Tigers will go for it on 4th and short.
Yeah, this is about a situation where you're in 4-down territory right here. You probably want to do that. Let's see how Wilton stacks the defense in tight here. They're playing the 4-man line.
Thompson will keep it and get the first down for the Tigers as Thompson advances the ball up to the 32-yard line.
Good surge out of the middle of that offensive line in there with Mike Ciotti, Bob Hughes, and Rob Vibber just going straight ahead with the blocking and giving David Thompson the forward momentum he needed to be able to pick up that first down.
Mike Ciotti leads him to the line on 1st and 10. High formation for the Tigers. Thompson mix up in the backfield. He bumps in his Leckie, now forced to run the ball, and Thompson picks up 1. Will bring up a 2nd and 9 for the Tigers.
Smart play by Dave Thompson. I don't think that was the planned play, but I think he realized that the timing got messed up when he and Leckie bumped, and the smart thing to do at that point is just tuck it up. Don't let anything bad happen down in this area.
Of course, only his 2nd ball game for Stu Leckie, so mix up in the backfield. We may see that even more than once this afternoon. 2nd down 9, Tigers I formation. Bill Leckie split to the right, 9 split to the left. Thompson rolls out right, looking for Leckie. Has him open at the 23, and off his hands, and a flag goes down.
We have an eligible man downfield, I believe, on the Tigers. I think they're probably, I'm not sure who they're going to call it on. Yeah, maybe on Murphy. That's more or less who he was pointing towards. The Western Board officials, I believe that's what the call is going to be. It's going to be an ineligible man downfield, which is also a loss of down penalty.
Well, the penalty will move the ball all the way back to the Wilton 46-yard line.
That's going to set up a 2nd and 24 play for the Tigers, and what Han wants to try to do here is maybe get a dozen of the yards back and then at least try to set up a 3rd and makeable situation.
Tigers come out with a split backfield, 2 receivers to the right. Thompson to Piggott over the right side, up over the 40, cuts back now to the outside, and brings the ball up close to the 35. They'll spot it at about the 36-yard line.
And he got 10 of those yards back. Good play in that situation because Wilton was only rushing 3 men, dropping everybody else back in pass coverage. Once you break the contain at the line of scrimmage, you're putting him out into the secondary with a chance to make some moves.
3rd down, 14, 3 minutes into the ball game. 0-0, Tigers and the Warriors. Thompson, straight drop back, looking for Scott Duncanson.
Nice play out there by number 22 for the Warriors, who's their fifth defensive back.
Mike Rowe, 5'11", 161-pound junior on the deflection.
Right, he's playing that nickelback spot for Wilton in the passing situations. Now on a 4th and 14, the Tigers with a very tough situation here, and Thompson is back in punt formation. Yeah, I guess he's back about deep enough, just about barely deep enough. Usually when he's up a couple of steps, he's going to run with the ball.
Thompson will boot it from the 43. And the ball bounces down at the 5, 4, 3, 2. And the Tigers kept it out of the end zone.
They did.
Down the ball inside the 1-yard line.
Great play there by Dennis Simmons. He's the one who got down first. He rolled into the end zone, but he flipped the ball back. It is inside the 1-yard line, and you can't ask for much better than that.
And when Thompson let it go, it appeared that it would bound into the end zone, but the ball just bounced dead at about the 5, rolled down inside the 1. And the Tigers have the Warriors backed up on their first possession of the afternoon offensively for the Warriors.
It'll be interesting here to see what Wilton can do with that wishbone, which is to a certain degree a high-risk offense. It's going to involve probably either a handoff or a pitch deep. Well, watch the Warriors. They sometimes will, no, you just go with the quarterback sneak.
Chris Kinch sneaks it forward, trying to get a little bit of breathing room. Ball out to about the 2-yard line. So a pickup of just about 2 brings up a 2nd and 8 for the Warriors. DeSimone, Jebbia, and Jarisol are in the backfield in the wishbone. Kinch gives off to the fullback, DeSimone. I believe the numbers are all in the 30s, 30, 34, 35.
35 is Bobby Jarisol.
So it must have been Jarisol, I believe, was the ball carrier.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the roster we have here is going to be about useless, Chris, because there are a whole lot of names and numbers that aren't on here. CIAC in its ultimate wisdom didn't bother to check things out, I don't think.
3rd down 1, 2nd man through. That time it's definitely Jarisol, and he'll get the 1st down for the Warriors. Ball spotted at about the 12-yard line, and a 1st down for Wilton.
That's exactly the kind of thing the Tigers have to avoid, is that, you know, either the 1st or 2nd down, big play. That's what they've got to stop. They've got to set up that 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and then just hope that they can hold Wilton under that amount of yards.
1st down 10. Kinch hands the ball off.
That's Kevin Jebbia, 34.
Jebbia, number 34. No gain on the play, bring up a 2nd down and 10. Bob Jarisol, 930 yards on the season, 16 touchdowns in 6 games. He rushed for over 100 yards. The fullback, DeSimone, 265 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Kevin Jebbia has not run the ball much this season. Pitch goes left side. That's Jebbia. Stumbles out over the 15 up to about the 17-yard line. Pickup of about 4 yards.
Pegnataro and Bryce made the final stop, but Bobby Hughes had a hand on him in the backfield to slow him down long enough to set that up. That's what the Tigers want to do. Now we're sitting here with a 3rd and 5 situation. It puts a little bit more pressure on Wilton to come up with something more than your average play.
3rd down 5 for Wilton. And a pitch comes right side, Jebbia, and finally taken down by Nye, as Wynoski had a hold of him behind the line of scrimmage, and Jebbia able to slip away back close to the line of scrimmage.
Timmy Wynoski did a good job on that, though, in terms of interrupting the flow of the play and setting it up so that to give Timmy Nye come in. And now we have the punt formation with Jarisol back to kick from his own 17-yard line.
4th down, they're punting. Good field position expected for the Tigers as Thompson fields the ball in midfield, puts a juke on one man, another juke, and gets up close to the 45. It'll be spotted at about the 46-yard line of the Warriors, where the Tigers will have their 2nd possession of the afternoon. 1st quarter, 5:24 to go, no score, and the Tigers now with their 2nd possession inside Wilton territory.
Good job defensively for Hand on that, allowing the 1 1st down, getting the ball back in pretty good field position. And also there, a good job of punt coverage for Wilton. Not a particularly strong snap at all, and this is something that the Warriors, I think, have had some problems with all year. Jarazal fielded it well, got the kick off, and Wilton was downfield to cover it in a big hurry. Did not allow the Tigers to set up the wall.
Piggott right side, gets up close to the 40. They'll spot it at the 41-yard line, and that'll be a pickup of almost 6 for the Tigers, bring up 2nd and 4.
Something Larry Ciotti says, at this point in the season, you have to be able to run the ball. You know, when you get into the big games, you get into the bowl games, you get into the playoff games, even if you're a passing team, you've got to be able to establish the run, make the other team respect the fact that you can run, and then it opens up some areas to pass.
Tigers pitch goes to Piggott, and he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, met by a host of Warrior tackles at the 41-yard line.
Kevin had trouble getting out of his own tracks on that with the pitch out. He slipped when he started to make his cut, and at that point he was very much off balance, and he was fairly easy prey for Wilton. The Warriors do go to the ball well, though. You know, especially coming out of the defensive sets that they're in, where they're very much aware of the pass. They still react well to the ball.
Scott Duncanson is split left on a 3rd down. And once again, Piggott, the ball carrier, he'll be tripped up. The line of scrimmage falls forward for a couple, and it'll bring up a 4th down situation for the Tigers, and a long 2.
And Mark Cowper was involved in that, along with linebacker John Maurer, number 66. Cowper, the middle guard, good football player.
And the Tigers send in their punting team on 4th down. Dropping deep for the Warriors, number 82, Tim Roberts. Thompson's kick, angling for the sidelines, bounds down at the 9, and another beautiful kick by Thompson, this time down at the 3-yard line. Murphy down there to cover the punt, and once again the Warriors will start inside their own 5-yard line on their 2nd possession of the afternoon.
Tell you what, 4 times David Thompson's been to state championship games, and 4 times he has opened eyes with his punting, Chris. Every single title game he's been in, he's either banged the heck out of the ball long, or else he's done things like that, put the ball inside the coffin corner. He's a money player, and he does it when it counts.
Ball spotted right at the 3-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Warriors, and there's a fumble on the handoff. It looks like the Warriors are able to cover the fumble.
Yeah, I think Kinch fell on it.
There will be a loss of 1 on the play, so that'll bring up a 2nd down and 11. Dangerous territory here for the Warriors, with the ball spotted now inside the 2-yard line.
Now, Kinch did fall on that ball, and right in front of him was Stu Milberg, and Milberg has a tendency to be a fairly large obstacle to get around at 6'6" and 275 pounds.
Tigers in their 5-2, up close, 7-9 men within the 5-10-yard line. And the pass knocked down nicely at the 25-yard line.
Matt Sullivan made the play. Pass was intended for number 88, Junior Mullican, who comes into the ball game again in some situations. He flip-flops in at that receiver spot with Tim Roberts. Matt Sullivan got back and made a diving knockdown of the ball. Nice play from Matt.
And unusual to see a Wishbone team throw the ball too much, especially down inside their own 5-yard line. There it is, a 3rd down. And a short pickup over the left side.
It was that counter play to Jarazal there off the wishbone, and Chris Bryce was there to make the stop, and it sets up a 4th down play. And again, Hand did what it had to do. 1st down, there was a fumble. 2nd down, an incomplete pass. Now you're setting up a 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11 situation. If the Tigers can do that all day, they're going to be just fine.
And Jarazal will have to boot it from his own end zone. Under 2 minutes to go, 1st quarter. Good pressure from the Tigers. Boot hangs up nicely. And a fair catch signal called by Sullivan at the Wilton 43-yard line. So for the 3rd time, the Tigers will get possession in Wilton territory.
And another nice punt by Jarazal. That ball hung up, and I think Matt was a little bit worried about whether or not he could catch it, because he sort of took it over his shoulder. And maybe he regrets the fact that he made the fair catch, because he had about a 10-yard cushion to work with. But at that point, maybe the smart thing to do is make sure you catch the football before you try to do anything else.
1st and 10, Tigers from the Warrior 43-yard line. Pro set backfield. Thompson sprints, now decides to keep it, slips inside the 40, and gets down to about the 36-yard line. Nifty pickup by Thompson.
Right, he had to avoid two guys on one side, came back, ran through a tackle by Jim Brill, and turned that into a 6-yard gain. And David definitely has the ability, I think, to run away from some of the Wilton people. I have not seen a lot of speed on this Wilton team yet, and I think that the Tigers maybe have a little bit of an edge in that area.
Second down 4 for the Tigers as the sun breaks through the clouds. Out pattern to Leckie, caught inside the 30, and Leckie taken down at the 28-yard line for a Tiger first down.
And that is Thompson's first completion of the day.
Minute and 5 seconds to go here in the first quarter. The Tigers going into the wind. So when they turn around, Thompson will have the advantage of the wind at his back.
And it's a fairly stiff wind too, Chris.
Once again, a split backfield, wing right. Scott Duncanson split to the left. Pickett gets the carry over the left side, down close to the 20, about the 22-yard line.
Nice drive on that by Kevin Pickett. He dragged John Maurer, number 66, the left linebacker for Wilton, about 5 yards on that play. Maybe that leg's not bothering him as much.
And that's exactly what Pickett picked up on the play, is 5 yards. Second down and 5 for the Tigers. They've had great field position here in the first quarter, haven't been able to score. Clock winding down, 20 seconds to go here in the opening quarter of the Double M championship game.
Timmy Nice got single coverage on this side.
Thompson will sprint out right, now forced out of the pocket, has to run, gets the ball up to the 21-yard line, pickup of 1, bring up 3rd and 4 for the Tigers.
And I think now we'll go back and say something in the huddle, because although Kevin Gebbia is the leading interceptor for Wilton this year, he's out there one-on-one with Nye, and Nye is a whole lot bigger at 6'5" and 200 pounds, and Gebbia is 5'7", 140. Especially now going into the wind, you might, if the Tigers get that shot again, you might look for Thompson to put it up to Nye in the end zone.
Well, the first quarter has expired here from the Yale Bowl, and the score is 0-0 between the Han Tigers and the Wilton Warriors. Tigers come to the line, opening play of the second quarter. It's 3rd down and 4. They show I formation. Thompson sprints out left. Now he'll come back left to right, trying to avoid a tackler. And he gets by number 98, throws the ball back across field. It'll be intercepted by Gebbia.
We're going to have an illegal man downfield, I think. I saw the flag there. That was just a badly thrown pass by Thompson. He did have Sullivan wide open in the end zone. He had Nye wide open in the end zone. He couldn't, I don't think he could figure out which one he wanted to throw to, and he threw it between the two of them.
And Gebbia picked it off, brought the ball up to about the 11-yard line. There was a penalty on the play, declined by the Warriors, as Hal called illegal man downfield, which will sometimes happen with all the sprinting out. It appeared that it was set up as a running play with possibly the option. He had Scott Duncanson in the left corner of the end zone first, and when he came back across field, he looked for both Nye and Sullivan.
That's sort of like the play that he did make work against Guilford. And one of the interesting things about that, you know, you stop and think about that play. There was no holding, there was nobody illegally downfield, there were no clips on the play, and the Tigers turned that one into a touchdown, but it doesn't work all the time.
Gebbia gets the handoff. He goes right side and gets forward to about the 12.5-yard line, so a short pickup for the Warriors. Their 3rd possession of the afternoon. And this time they started just over their 10-yard line.
Their first field position.
Yeah, their first 2 possessions, I was going to say, have been inside the 5-yard line. Once inside the 1, the other time on the 3-yard line.
The Tigers have to start taking advantage of this, though, Chris. They can't sit there all day in that kind of field position and not punch something in. And there's that counterplay to Gerizal.
And a little different look from the Warriors. And Gerizal gets the ball up to about the 15-yard line. Once again, a short pickup, and it'll bring up a 3rd down and 6 for the Warriors.
That's something the Tigers are going to have to be aware of, because Wilton will run that out of the wishbone. It's a little bit different look from what a normal wishbone would be, to run that counterplay as much as it is. That's almost a Delaware wing T look.
And the pitch goes to Gebbia. He's dragged down inside the 10. Timmy Winoski coming up from the rover position with a great defensive play. And once again, the Warriors will be forced to punt.
What made that play was the inside penetration. I believe Mike Ciotti got the penetration inside on that, beating Milberg on that play. And that's what set it up, because it forced the pitch. Well, we just heard a first quarter score in the background, I believe. 20-0 Ansonia over Putnam.
Jarosol does not hit it good. It bounds down at the 33-yard line where it's covered by the Warriors. So once again, the Tigers will have superb field position, although they have yet to get onto the scoreboard. 9:51 to go in the first half, and it's still 0-0.
There's still a little bit of feeling out going on here, Chris, and I think it's about time the Tigers stopped feeling out and started putting something together that's going to work. I think they're just sort of doing a little bit of probing and experimenting and trying to see what works. You may see them go long because that's something they have not yet done.
And they send Leckie and Sullivan to the left side. Thompson will give the ball to Piggott. He'll get inside the 30, down to about the 29-yard line. And the all-white uniforms for the Wilton Warriors with the blue numbers makes it a little tough to distinguish the numbers from our vantage point, which is about 40 feet above the ball and about 40 yards away from the field at least.
And it's more like about 150 feet above the ball. Stu Leckie with his first run.
Stu Leckie inside the 20 to about the 18-yard line, and a Tiger first down.
It's that quick hitter to the fullback, and Stu Leckie, I think you're going to see a lot of that in the next couple of years if he plays fullback, if he doesn't switch to tailback, because he is going to be a fine runner for the Tigers. That's his first carry of the day, and nice job. First down inside the 20.
Leckie and Piggott in the I formation. Thompson barks it out.
There's Nye wide open.
Pass, Nye in the end zone. Touchdown, Tigers!
Timmy Nye was open from the time he came off the line of scrimmage on that play. The defensive back did not pick him up right away. Nye got the inside position on the post pattern, and even though the back got back there was no way that they were going to stop that play. All Thompson had to do was float it in there. David played it exactly where he had to, and it's 6 points.
Well, it seemed a bit inevitable the Tigers would eventually score here with all their possessions inside Wilton territory here in the first half. And on an 18-yard pass from David Thompson to Timmy Nye, the Tigers have taken a 6-0 lead here in the Double M Championship game. Sullivan puts it down. Simmons, who's hit 29 of 32 this year, puts it through. And with 8:39 to go here in the first half, it's the Hand Tigers 7 and the Wilton Warriors 0.
After that touchdown, that cloud sort of moved away, and all of a sudden Yale Bowl is bathed in sunlight. At least the field portion of it is.
Thompson's kick from the 40. Over the head and into the end zone.
I don't think the Warriors realized the strength of David Thompson's leg, because that was a low-line drive kick that just kept kind of sailing and floating, and it all of a sudden it got over Jerisol's head and into the end zone. Well, once the ball does go into the end zone, though, in Federation rules, the ball is dead, and it will come out automatically to the 20-yard line, which is what's going on in this particular case. So the Warriors will set up with their best field position of the day, starting at their own 20 with a 1st and 10.
As you mentioned, best field position of the day for the Warriors up to this point. First down from the 20. And no gain on the play. Ball carrier was number 23, Joe Brown, the backup fullback. Brown, a 5'9", 175-pound junior, who, although a backup, has rushed for 410 yards and a couple touchdowns on the season.
Right. He started out the season as a center. He was, as a matter of fact, he's listed in the program as number 50. He's actually number 23, and he is the backup fullback.
Second down, 10. And a short pickup for the Warriors. They'll bring up a 3rd down and 8 for the Warriors, whose wishbone offense has not gotten in gear here in the first half of football.
Well, thus far, the Tigers have done exactly what they've had to defensively, Chris. They've really shut down the first couple of downs on the plays, and they've set up that 3rd and long situation. Now they're forcing a pass.
Kinch drops back, and a pass is complete to number 80, Jim O'Brien, the tight end. And he takes the ball up close to the 38-yard line, and a Wilton Warrior first down.
Right, O'Brien, the I believe, the top receiver for the Warriors this year. Although Wilton does not throw the ball all that much, Kinch had only completed 23 out of 51 for 385 yards for the year.
First down, Warriors. And the pitch comes outside, big hole. That's Jarisol, I believe, and he gets the ball out over the 45. Jebbia, correction, Jebbia, the ball carrier, out to the 46-yard line, and a nice pickup of about 8 for the Warriors, bring up a 2nd and 2.
And Billy Bryant got a nice block on the outside on John Wiesbrock on that play. Wiesbrock was playing the rover back, and Wiesbrock had just come off the field. David Thompson's gone back in at that rover spot.
6 minutes, 40 seconds to go, first half, 7-0 Tigers. Pitch comes outside. Jebbia cuts back nicely. Gets into Tiger territory for the first time this afternoon and gets the ball up to the 48-yard line, and another Wilton first down.
Right, and Dennis Simmons made the stop on that play. But again, they ran that same thing to the outside there, and what they're doing on that play, they're just kicking the end out. Rob Pegnataro, the end on that side, getting kicked to the outside, and it's creating a hole when the tackle takes an inside route.
And Jebbia, not a big back at 5'7", 140. And the ball carrier gets the ball inside the 45 to the 44. That's Jarisol, the leading ball carrier for the Warriors.
That time the Tigers did a little bit better job of stuffing it up on that particular side.
Once again, Thompson comes to the sidelines. John Wiesbrock in at the rover position. Duncanson been the safety for the last couple of weeks. Kevin Piggott, earlier in the season, had been the safety for the Tigers, one of the 2 safeties. This time it's the fullback, and he'll take the ball up to about the 43-yard line. Bobby Hughes and Chris Bryce on the tackle. Once again, I believe that was the fullback, Joe Brown. So a 3rd down and a long 4 for the Warriors. Ball resting between the 42 and 43-yard line.
Tigers have to come up with a defensive play here.
And the fullback is the ball carrier, well shy of the first down. Pickup of maybe a couple. Ball will be marked at about the 40-yard line, the nose of the ball just close to the 40-yard line, and a long 2 on 4th down for the Warriors, and it appears that they will punt it away here with 5 minutes exactly to go here in the first half.
All right, Brown again the ball carrier on that, but Bobby Jarisol is the punter, and obviously we know that he has some pretty good running ability, so the Tigers have to be aware of the contain at least on this particular play.
Tigers send it Thompson and Sullivan deep. They're standing at their own 10. Jarisol fakes it, passes it, and no one is there. The closest man was number 82, Tim Roberts. He had his back to the play, but there is a flag down inside the 30-yard line.
And I don't know if we're going to have ineligible or if we're going to have a defensive holding call.
And another flag also down at about the 42-yard line, so 2 flags scattered on the field.
It's an ineligible receiver penalty. That's the 3rd one of those we've seen today, Chris, and I don't recall seeing one all year before this. Western Board officials, these are the same officials who worked the state title game last year, as a matter of fact, the Handy's Catholic game last year. And I saw one of those in the game last night, the Southington Glastonbury game, which the Eastern Board officials worked.
And the Tigers starting from their own 40, which is their worst field position of the afternoon. And may have been Leckie.
It was Stu Leckie on the ball.
Ball carrier for the Tigers gets the ball up to the 44-yard line. Pick up of about 3, brings up 2nd and 7.
Number 66, John Mauer, the linebacker, on the stop. He's been pretty active this afternoon.
Bill Leckie comes a split right. No doubt Thompson will be looking for him on this possession sometime. Once again, Leckie, and he's hit at the line of scrimmage, is able to bowl forward for a pickup of about 3. And it'll bring up a 3rd down and 3 for the Tigers.
Once again, the center of the Tiger offensive line getting a real good line surge off. Mike Ciotti backing Mark Cowper up about 3 or 4 steps on that play. Good job.
And Cowper, with 10 QB sacks on the season and 3 fumble recoveries, leads that defensive line for the Warriors. I-formation Tigers. Thompson will keep it, goes right side. He'll get enough for the first down and more, up close to the 45-yard line. He'll spot it at about the 46-yard line.
Chris, that was blocked like it was a called play, but the way Thompson took the ball, I'm not sure if that was called or if that was just something that he spotted and he decided to take advantage of himself.
First down 10, Tigers, 2 receivers to the left side. And a flag goes down.
That's handoff side.
Something I noticed on that play is that I thought I saw Scott Duncanson come onto the field with a play and then come off the field. And am I correct in that saying
that is illegal
can
procedure?
Do that. You must stay in the game once you come onto the field. I'm not sure if that's the call, but I did notice that.
Yeah, I thought that there was also some movement by the Tigers, but you may be right, because if Scott did not stay in for the play, that is illegal procedure. That's how that would be called.
So it'll be a 1st and 15 as the Tigers are backed up inside the 48 to about the 47.5-yard line, back into their own side of the field. They'll split Nye out to the right side. Bill Leckie split to the left. Sullivan also to the left. 3 receivers for the Tigers. Thompson can't find anyone open. He's pressured, and he'll be sacked back at the 37-yard line.
Right. Mark Cowper, number 45, was the man leading the charge on that, along with number 62, Jeff Ferguson. That Cowper, that's his 11th sack of the year.
So that'll bring up a 2nd down and 25 for the Tigers. And Cowper with his 11th QB sack, as you mentioned, Hal, 5'9", but 181 pounds and only a junior. Thompson going back to Piggott. He'll get the ball up over the 45. Tries to get a block from Duncanson, taken down close to midfield.
Maurer there again to make the stop on that play, but all that does is now we're setting up a 3rd and 13 play, which at least puts the Tigers into a situation where maybe, you know, a medium-range pass can get the first down. So maybe that's not a bad play at all.
Tigers will have to advance the ball to the 37-yard line in order to get a 1st down. 3rd and 14.
That's 48 yards on 8 carries for Kevin Piggott, who's doing a very nice job.
And Leckie getting bump and run coverage. Thompson sprints out, looks for Leckie. Now he's double teamed. Thompson forced out of the pocket, has to run over the 50, down inside the 45. And number 66 finally takes him out of bounds.
That's John Maurer. But what happened was that there was a clipping penalty. Cowper was clipped back in the backfield, and that's going to send Hand all the way back, probably very, very close to its own 20-yard line on the play. The penalty flag is sitting around the 37-yard line right now.
Thompson, on some 2nd and 3rd effort, was able to get the ball up to the 40 of the Warriors, but it's going to come way back with 1:39 to go here in the first half, and a 7-0 Hand lead.
It's going to bring it all the way back to the 22, and that's going to make it 3rd and 40. And I think that's got to be the first for the Tigers this year to have that kind of a situation going against the ball. Although they had a couple of 3rd and very longs against Middletown too.
Well, the Tigers, they're going to take time out here on 3rd down in a bunch. Call it about 40, as the ball will have to advance up to the 47-yard line of the Warriors for a Tiger 1st down. So Thompson goes to the sidelines to talk about it with Coach Ciotti.
There's only 1:39 to go in the first half, so they may be discussing some possible ways to figure out if they want to run out the clock or if they want to try to fling one long and see if maybe they can pick up another score.
Coach Ciotti in his 14th year, 116 wins, 25 losses, 9 shoreline titles. Of course, the Tigers won the title in 76, 77, and 82, and lost it in 80, 81, and 83. And of course, this is their 5th consecutive year in the playoffs and 7th overall.
And Tom Fujitani has been at Wilton for 17 years, and he's 82, 73, and 6 over the course of that span. And the Warriors went to the 1978 state title game against Newtown, a game that Wilton won, I believe, 17-7. You know, the interesting thing about Larry's record, the one that always surprises me, is no ties. The Tigers have never had a tie in 14 years. That's pretty amazing when you stop and think about it. And going into shotgun for the first time today. And Thompson is going to air it out. There's Nye. He got turned
Nye
around.
got turned around. Jebbia back there defending at the 30. That was a 3rd and 40 as the Tigers put 6'5" Timmy Nye against 5'7" Kevin Jebbia, and Nye not far away from coming down with that one, although he was turned around, but Thompson heaved that a whole bunch of yards.
About 60 yards in the air, Chris. And it was almost right on the money, which is even more amazing. I think if Nye had not turned the wrong way, that he probably had a shot to catch that, and it would have easily been a first down.
Thompson will hit it from his 15, and he hits a beauty. Drives Jerisol back to the 27, though. He's got some running room out over the 40-yard line. And taken down by Kevin Hughes at the 42.
That time, Thompson got to air the leg out a little bit. He aired the arm on one play, and he punted the ball almost as far as he threw it the play before.
As you mentioned before about Tom Fujitani, quite an unbelievable thing to be here this year after going 1-8-1 last year and 4-23-2 in the last 3 years.
Yeah, they've definitely turned the program around.
Kinch drops back a pass over the middle and almost caught by number 80, Jim O'Brien, the tight end.
Right, ball in and out of O'Brien's hands. Tigers had 3 men back there, but nobody was there to knock the ball down. Kinch put that ball pretty much where he wanted to. He threw the ball a little bit better than I thought he had the ability to do. Wilton apparently going to try to get it into the end zone, try to get into halftime, at least with a tie ball game.
2nd down 10. Once again, Kinch looks over the middle, almost picked off by Matt Sullivan.
Intended for Joe Brown, number 23. That time he had 5 men out on the pattern, which is also something we haven't seen before. Generally, he's only had 1 or 2 out, but he flooded the field that time with receivers. And now you're setting up a 3rd and 10 play here.
Kinch has only put the ball up in the air in 11 games, 51 times. And as we know, the Tigers' David Thompson has put it up close to 51 in one ball game. So we'll have to see what they'll do here on 3rd and 10. This time they'll pitch it out. It'll go to Jebbia. Stutter steps a couple people, now looks to cut back across the field, unable to do so. Hits the ball out to about the 42-yard line.
An outstanding job that time by Rob Pegnataro. He did exactly what you want to do. He was being blocked to the outside, but he rode the block, he played with the blocker, and he did not give Jebbia room to turn the corner at all. He forced it back inside. The defense filled, and they stuffed it for maybe a 1-yard gain at the most, maybe no gain, and now it's going to set up a 4th down play. And with 45 seconds left, the Tigers may very well get the ball back.
Yes, they will. The Tigers have taken a timeout, so they will get the ball back, and we'll have 35 or 40 seconds or so to work with. They lead this one 7-0.
And so much for my prediction for a high-scoring game so far, Chris. Although Hand has certainly had some opportunities to put the ball in the end zone and has just come up a little bit short a couple times.
Up to this point, the Tigers' worst field position has been their own 40-yard line. All their other possessions started inside Wilton territory, and of course Wilton has had horrible field position with much of their field position from the 20 and inward, one time inside the 1-yard line. Jerisol will punt. He'll hit the ball from about the 30, 32-yard line.
I think he'll kick this one, too, because I don't think they want to give Thompson room in that particular area to do anything.
And he angles it for the sidelines. Thompson picks it off at the 30, and he gets up over the 40, slipping a couple tackles, finally dragged down at the 42-yard line. In on the tackle for the Warriors, number 66, John Maurer, and number 61, Chris Kennedy. So the Tigers will have 35 seconds to work with, and they'll need to go about 58 yards for a score. And the clock is moving. 25 seconds to go. Shotgun for the Tigers. Thompson now will run on the QB draw, get up over midfield, and finally taken down at the Wilton 47-yard line. The clock stops with 17 seconds to go.
And there'll just be a timeout to move the chains, and no. Yeah, I think that's the only timeout, unless the Tigers took their timeout. Yes, the Tigers did take their timeout. Hand has one more timeout left, our statistician Don Thompson informs us. And so we'll see what they have cooked up here, Chris.
Thompson may look to throw it in the end zone a few times. With the ball now inside midfield, he can throw the ball that far. Hasn't really looked for Leckie much in the first half, although Leckie appeared to have some bump and run coverage a couple times on different sides of the field. And Thompson has not thrown the ball much to Leckie. And on the other side of the coin, the Warriors, with Bob Gerizal, their leading rusher, with 16 touchdowns, 930 yards. They've gone away from him a bit and handed the ball off quite a lot to Kevin Jeviah.
I think, that there's a little bit of game playing going on. I think that as the second half progresses, we'll start to see the good football players
this
show
time,
up.
Leckie is sprinting down the sidelines. The ball really heaved
Leckie
up there.
fell down.
Leckie falls down. The ball will be picked off by Wiseman, and he gets out to about the 13-yard line.
Thompson did not throw a good pass on that play. The ball kind of fluttered. It was up in the air, looked more like a hand grenade than a typical David Thompson pass. But at the same time, Leckie did probably have a chance to catch it until he fell down.
And Wiseman picks it off, the 6-foot, 175-pound junior. And the ball will be spotted at the 12-yard line. 4 seconds to go, and they will not get a playoff. They will head to the locker room with the score. The Hand Tigers 7 and the Wilton Warriors nothing.
by while we change tape.